In today's episode of the Motorhome Matt podcast,
we're back at the Newbury show, this time behind the scenes asking dealers what they think the future of shows looks like.
In the news, we check out the all-new VW California series.
And we answer your questions on using a French-made A-frame and using alloy wheel spacers to increase track width of a motorhome.
Welcome to the Motorhome Matt podcast. I'm Keith Gooden.
And I'm Motorhome Matt.
Industry insights and expert advice for the world of motorhomes, caravans and campervans. And it's brought to you by thatleisureshop.com.
Now, please, we always ask you to do this, but please subscribe on your favourite podcast app. And make sure you do the same on YouTube, as it helps really spread the word of the podcast. And our YouTube channel is brought to you by our friends at arabasecreative.co.uk.
Straight into the news then. The all-new Volkswagen California Campervan series was unveiled in Germany a few weeks ago, Matt.
The California has long held the title of the world's most renowned campervan, boasting over 280,000 units sold to date.
And I think I was behind all of them on the M4 the other day. So what do you think of the brand new California, Matt?
Well, we had a sneak peek of this in Dusseldorf last year, and I have to say it had a big crowd around it. It looks really cool. If a California is your thing, and for me it's not, it's just too small. It's a bit like posh tenting for me. But what's interesting, it's got two sliding doors, which makes it really feel really airy inside.
Airy?
Airy, yeah, spacious.
Like hairy.
Airy with no H.
Yeah,
like you, not hairy. And also, you can buy it as a hybrid, so a plug-in hybrid, diesel or petrol. So yeah, you've got a real choice of which power plant. I think this is the only fossil-fueled vehicle that VW are still going to make. Everything else they make is electric.
Isn't hybrid, though, the way to go? Because you get the advantages of being able to plug it in, have a bit of battery power when you're doing short distances. But if you need to go longer range, you've got the fuel engine as well.
Yeah, that's true, provided you can get to electricity to recharge it. This is a plug-in hybrid.
So it doesn't charge from the engine at all?
No, not to my knowledge, no. And what I don't know, actually, is how many miles can you run on electric. Don't know. Be on their website, but you have to be able to get the power to recharge it, and that's not always practical if you're off-grid camping and you're nowhere near electricity. So yeah, maybe a petrol or diesel is the way forward, and certainly as they launch this, that is an option to buy a fossil fuel powered one.
Welcome to the Motorhome Matt podcast. I'm Keith Gooden.
And I'm Motorhome Matt.
It's all brought to you with thatleisureshop.com, and welcome, and we're outdoors again. We're at a show. Which show are we at, Matt?
We're at the Southern Motorhome and Caravan Show at Newbury once again.
Fantastic. And this podcast, we're going to be delving into something a bit different. We're looking at it from the point of view of the dealers and the people who sell things to motorhomers, caravanners and campers. So I suppose what we're doing is reflecting what people see behind the fancy marketing and the nice signs, aren't we, Matt? You've said in the past that business is a little bit tougher than it was a couple of years ago. It's a little bit harder to sell a motorhome than it was post-pandemic. Is that really the case? And if it is, how's it affecting the businesses, the people that are actually feeding the pastime?
Absolutely. And I thought it would be interesting to get the point of view and the insight into some of the traders and the dealers, friends of mine who come to these shows, some for the first time, and to get their take on it. And we all have a view of what the customer's looking for, and I thought it would be really interesting to get their insight. And get them to share their view of the marketplace we're in and the landscape we're on now.
Now, they're not going to tell us everything, but there are always trade secrets. They're not always going to tell us about how business really is, but hopefully we can delve deep enough so we can get an idea, not how difficult it is to be a dealer or a supplier in this pastime, but certainly some of the challenges as well as the advantages.
Yeah, absolutely. These shows, you see, are really quite unique to our industry. There's shows within many niches, but these shows are so well attended. People come, thousands of them, with their motorhome and camp and spend the weekend, and they are almost like a holiday, a destination for many, repeating it throughout the year. And for the dealers too, it's touring around all of the shows. A lot of money is spent at these shows, and I'm intrigued to know What future do the shows have this year and into 2025? Are we going to see them boom and grow? It was interesting last year, speaking to a number of traders, the accessory stand holders, who were kind of moaning, saying that, well, the high street's changed, it's collapsing, the shows aren't the same as they used to be. And of course they're not. The shows have evolved. And I think those businesses, those traders hadn't evolved. And as a businessman myself, I'm a firm believer, if you don't innovate, you will evaporate. And for them, they have disappeared from the show. The shows are different, but I want to try and find out, how have they changed?
Matt has got somebody very special with him.
I've got Toby with me from Home on Wheels. Toby, this is your first time at a Warner show, in fact any Motorhome Campervan show.
It's been the most unbelievable experience. We have had such a warm reception from everyone. People are really interested and excited in our product, which gives our product a lot of validity as well. It means that what we've believed in for a long time in creating the product is actually coming to a reality, and we're seeing customers actually really like it.
Now, your product is a conversion kit for a VW van. So you take an empty van and convert it into a camper van, but you sell the internals so people can modularly build their own. Is that right?
Exactly, yeah. So we find that a lot of people don't necessarily have the budget to just convert their van all in one. And they also sometimes want to customise pieces themselves. Say they want to build their furniture themselves, but they don't necessarily know how to do electrics. So where we sort of found our niche is by supplying all of the parts that people need for their conversion to their specification, but only building the bits that they don't want to do. So say you've got a pop top that you don't necessarily want to cut a massive hole in your roof, we can do that part for you and then supply you all of the parts for the rest of it, but supply that at a pace that's comfortable for you. When you do your electrics, we can supply the electrics. When we do your plumbing, we can supply the plumbing. So you can spread that period out as you build. You don't have so much stock at home that your maybe other half is getting fed up of you and maybe getting you to sleep in the van more nights than you were planning to do. And yeah, it's quite a nice solution for people, and we've had a really good response.
And out of interest, have you designed this business as a response to a changing landscape? Because this is a relatively new, I mean, being able to build your own camper van has been around forever, since camper vans have always been around. But is this a response by you as your business to a changing landscape?
Yeah, so we used to do just conversions and bespoke conversions for people, and whether it's bespoke conversions or just general campervan conversions that you're buying off the street as we are here, the market is slowing down a little bit, and what we think is happening, and what we believe is happening, and the reason that our business might be taking up now is that people don't want to quite spend that much money. You know, maybe 40% of a conversion cost is the labour that goes into it, and some people really want to build their own because then they've really put their own love into it, they've had their own stamp on it, and they've also saved 40% of the cost by doing it themselves, which is a labour of love for them, so sort of priceless for them to do themselves.
And what kind of take-up have you had?
We've had a lot of orders from our rail seats. They've been really popular. And the kitchen, we've actually had people that have seen them on eBay and then heard we were at the show and now actually wanted to come and see for real life what they actually involve. So we've had a couple of people that hopefully will start coming through on them. And then conveniently had a lot of people around the Warwickshire area where they want to come in and have a proper sit-down consultation so we can build the kits out for them.
Brilliant. Well, I think you're onto something, Toby. I really do. I think you hit the nail on the head that people don't always want to spend all the money to have their own camper van. They are prepared to do some of the work themselves or all of the work themselves. And you do training videos as well, don't you? So you can kind of nurture people through it.
What we're currently doing is we're producing a custom van every 6 weeks, and sometimes that will be one that we buy, sometimes that will be a customer one that they buy, but we try to get customers that are keen to be quite creative. So then we build a new concept of van, and then we can basically sell that van and add that to our stock library to get that out there as well.
Great.
Tell us about your customer. Is it the traditional motorhome buyer, or have you noticed that the market is changing? Just the customers themselves, perhaps, you know, how old they are, maybe people on a tighter budget.
For the rail system, for example, we seem to get a lot of people that are in the trades, so they want to go away for a couple of days and they want to be able to sort of move that bed all the way forwards to then be able to put all of their stuff in, or maybe build a module actually for their own stuff. And for the actual conversion, I thought that we were going to have loads of, tradesmen again that have the skills to do it. But funnily enough, it's lots of office-based people that actually maybe like we did a few years ago when we started the company, had enough of the 9 to 5 in an office and want to do something a bit different. They want to be a bit creative. And we've had some success stories as well where actually people are quite entrepreneurial and they want to convert a van themselves to then sell it and make a bit of money as their sort of side hustle. As you know, we have everyone that has their second jobs now, and this can be a second job for someone.
One big question though, will you come to another show in the future, do you think? Are shows part of your business future?
Oh, 100%. The Warner shows, they've been absolutely brilliant. Coming to our first show, it was really stressful. Sort of setting everything up, getting a camper ready to present, they've been so flexible, and we've got a really good spot. There's so many people interested, and the community around the shows as well. It's not like everyone's fighting against everyone. Everyone's got their own little niche and everyone's really supportive, so it's a really nice industry to be part of.
I'm here with Deborah from DG Motorhomes, based in Cambridge. Deborah, you've got a fair old commute to come to this show in Newbury, haven't you?
Yeah, about 2.5 hours each way, and to get all these vans here, it's quite a trek.
And when do you first arrive at the show?
Wednesday.
And how many drivers do you need?
8.
So it's a big logistical effort,
It
isn't it?
is, definitely.
It's juggling the ones with tow bars that you can put a tow car on the back so you can get back to base.
Yes.
And bring the next bunch, isn't it?
And when you sell them, making sure you've still got the tow bar ones left to get the cars back home.
Yeah. So how's the show gone for you so far?
Really good. We've done 3, and we've done lots of possible Part X's and just waiting for people to mull it over and come back to us.
So a show's a big part of DG Motorhomes?
Yeah, we try and do about 6 a year.
And do you think you'll do more next year?
Possibly, if we can get the stock and the staff.
And what's the consumer's view of buying a motorhome at the moment? Things have slowed down a bit, haven't they?
They've slowed down a little bit, but we are still turning over quite a lot of sales ourselves. I think in our location where we're based in Cambridgeshire, we've not got that much competition, which helps.
Right, okay. So that's where I need to set up then.
Yes.
So you've got a lot of motorhomes here today. How many have you brought down?
16, but we took 2 sold yesterday home, and we've brought 2 back, so now it's a total of 18 here at the show.
So when people buy them at the show, do they drive them home straight away?
Never. No, they normally come and collect within about 2 weeks.
Tell us about the customers. I mean, a show like Newbury, you're in the Thames Valley. Everybody said there's loads of money around, down here. Is that the case?
I'm not sure. A lot of people are still thinking about putting a deposit down, but we've done 3 definites, so hopefully we'll do some more before the weekend's out.
And from your point of view, from somebody who sells motorhomes, to the customer who we broadcast to, how are people buying them? Is it finance, or are they cash buyers putting the money on the nail?
I'd say majority is cash, and there's a few finance deals, but not many.
And why do you think that is?
I think maybe funds are available more than what the media is saying. We haven't noticed a recession. People are still buying, and they're buying high-end vans as well.
Is it all the grey pound?
Yes.
So you're not seeing a change in the demographic getting younger?
No, it is more, we sell to more older generation, not so many families, but we are still doing a good turnover.
But the thing with the older generation now and coming around to retirement, they're the punk rockers, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
Like you.
Yeah, just like me. I was a punk rocker. I'm 64 now.
Well, you look 21.
And you look 19.
Oh dear, a little bit of sick in my mouth.
It's the Motorhome Matt podcast. I'm Keith Gooden.
And I'm Motorhome Matt.
It's brought to you with thatleisureshop.com. Now, Matt, we have a special guest again, another one of your mates.
This is an old friend of mine. I'm with the lovely Guy Tegg from Webbs Motorhomes. Guy, how are you?
Very well, thank you.
How long have you been in this industry?
Just over 20 years.
Gosh. And how long have you been coming to shows?
20 years.
Most of that time, yeah. And you've sold a fair few motorhomes and campervans, haven't you?
I have indeed, yeah.
So shows for you, Guy, at Webbs, they've been a big part of your kind of marketing strategy in the past. You're now only coming to the Newbury show. How's it gone for you?
Good day yesterday as regards to this show. Not great today, and don't do many outdoor shows anymore. This is the only one we do.
Yeah. And why is that?
Used to do loads of them. I think they got quite diluted. Don't know whether people just came out because they saw it as a weekend away. Maybe it was we bought the wrong stock. We used to come with new. We've now walked away from new. Used has been selling well for the last few years, so no need to drag it to shows. And we do this one because it's literally on our doorstep.
Yeah, it's literally around the corner, aren't you? So how has the landscape changed? Because we've been a roller coaster, haven't we, in terms of COVID and the last 4 years has been very turbulent. How is the landscape now?
The last 4 years has been phenomenal. Some businesses have mopped up, some haven't. I think we did really well. People say to me now, is it over? What's my view? I don't think it's over. I think when we look back at what we did in 17, 18, 19, we're back there again. There are other factors that are making it slightly harder, with war, interest rates, cost of living, fuel. But we muscle on through, and I think that what's happening now is used prices are coming back down to where they should be, and I think that needs to happen. As said, we walked away from new back in 2018, and I'm ultimately glad we did. The prices of those have gone through the roof, and they don't seem to be stabilised anytime soon.
But doesn't that just prop up the used market, though? Because people don't want to give their used one away for a massive loss.
Yeah, artificially, it pumped prices up hugely, but it's not sustainable. They won't ever go back, I don't think, to where they were. But yeah, I think it does need to settle.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of a pendulum swing, isn't it? It's happening at the moment.
Yeah, it is, and we're just sticking to used. We do used only. I mean, we do a lot of used, and certain trends that have been popular over the last few years we've stopped doing. So massively reduced Volkswagen camper vans, for example. Find that market is very diluted. Just keep a token few in now.
When you say diluted, do you mean saturated? There's loads of them?
Yeah, just literally everyone's producing them. There was a huge thing for the staycation. A lot of people come out of them now, and I believe there's a huge amount on the market.
Yeah.
Then transit sort of cottoned on. So yeah, the pop top market I generally have cooled down on.
And what about the audience, the consumer? Has that changed? Have you seen the demographic change?
We saw a huge amount of obviously younger families during the staycation when you couldn't go abroad. I believe in the caravan market. Obviously we have a caravan branch. That family market, the family layout again went through the roof. Sales went through the roof. Yeah, literally anyone would buy anything for the last few years. Now I do believe the sort of family market is finding it hard work with their mortgage rates going up, cost of living. Probably young kids, car on finance, motorhome's got to be on finance. That market has gone a little bit harder.
Yeah. And are you finding that people are taking finance or need to make the purchase?
Well, they need to, but they can't generally afford the finance payments, so that's making a big decision in their purchase.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the used market, because you were saying you're dealing in all used. Surely you need people buying new, not necessarily from you, but you need people buying new for them to become used a couple of years later. Can you just explain how that whole ladder works?
Yeah, we've seen it before when chassis are short or products are short, consumers are short. It obviously has a knock-on effect. If we don't make that, if that van isn't made today, it's not going to be 3 years old in 3 years' time. So yeah, that's had an artificial hike in the prices. So that's where it'll all stabilise, because I believe new is coming through now. So yeah, I know we're keen on other people selling new. It's just not really our game anymore.
Yeah, and you're seeing a boom in new coming available now. Chassis are coming through.
Yeah, well, obviously not for me, but for people I know in the trade, say a lot of new's coming through now. Chassis are readily available again now. I think we had all sorts of problems with semiconductor factory fires, the Ukraine war, Brexit in itself, I think slowed new up in general, but I think we're over that now.
Generally, people, are they here buying their first motorhome, or are they part exchanging something else?
At this show, generally, no, we see people that are here in their motorhomes.
Yeah.
Generally here for the weekend, and we've taken a couple in part exchange from the camping fields already this weekend. So they are good in themselves, we just don't do as many of them.
Yeah. Brilliant. Well, the sun's come back out.
It has.
I wish you a better afternoon.
Better get some sun cream for my head.
With your head, yeah. If you ever meet Guy, it's a bit like Keith. It's like a solar panel.
Yeah.
Great rain detector.
Yeah, I was going to say exactly that. I was the first one earlier that knew it was raining, yeah.
It's the Motorhome Matt podcast. I'm Keith Gooden.
And I'm Motorhome Matt.
And it's brought to you with thatleisureshop.com. And I am walking down the main thoroughfare with Matt at one of the best shows in the UK, eh, Matt?
It certainly is. Well, it's local to us. This is the Southern Motorhome Campervan show at Newbury. It's local-ish to us in Bristol. 200 traders, 40-odd dealers, big range of motorhomes and campervans for sale, and stacks of accessories and choice to look at in the trading area. And this is a show you can camp at. So people are here for the weekend, and come Saturday afternoon, they're all pretty chilled out, I have to say.
Yeah, like I say, it's a Saturday and the sun is out, ice creams are being consumed, and plenty of business is going on. In this podcast, we're holding the mirror up. It's a reflection. It's looking at motorhoming, campervanning and caravanning through the eyes of the dealer. And we've heard some really quite inspiring stories, I think, Matt. People are doing business. The pandemic and the war has had an effect, but we're being told that business is coming back round. It's the same but different, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it is, and people are out spending money. We're seeing families coming to this show, but people are saying it's still the same kind of grey pound spending the money. I'm not sure that's entirely true as an industry, but of course you need to have funds available, and their motorhomes themselves, campervans, are not a cheap investment anymore, are they? But despite that, there are big numbers of vehicles here being sold. It's encouraging.
Yeah, what we're hearing from the dealers as they speak to us, and you're hearing some on this podcast, is that business has changed. It's been a struggle from time to time. But new is coming through, which means there's a bit more used, and people at this show in particular are looking and buying used.
That's right, and this is predominantly a used motorhome show. There are new vehicles here, but if you're in the market for something that is 1 or 10 years old, then it's a great place to start, to have a look, explore layouts, and look at something that perhaps is a little more affordable than a brand new £100,000 motorhome.
And as you said when we started this link, people can come here and with their motorhomes and campervans, and they can camp here on the site and come to the show over the weekend. So when it comes to buying or trading up or even trading down, they can take the dealer to their motorhome or campervan, which is parked in the next field, can't they?
Yeah, absolutely right. Which is what Guy at Webbs Motor Caravans has done today. He's been looking at a couple for part exchange, and the same with accessories as well. If you want an accessory fitted to your motorhome or campervan, you can take that trader back to your van, and they can look at what's needed to put the awning on or fit a new leisure battery. Or if you've got something that's broken, you need a new water pump, you could take a trader back to your stand and they will fix it for you, after the show that evening. At the end of every show, we see the traders going off their stands with their electric scooters, electric bikes, and boxes of stuff, and delivering it to people in the camping grounds, in the camping fields. So a really useful resource if you're coming here with your van, yeah.
It's the Motorhome Matt podcast. I'm Keith Gooden.
And I'm Motorhome Matt.
And it's brought to you with thatleisureshop.com.
Now we're here at the Newbury show, the Southern Motorhome and Campervan show. And I'm here with Simon from Falcon Technology at the show. Simon, welcome. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you very much.
You're looking a bit red in the sun.
First bit of sun we've got. So,
I know,
yeah.
It's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah.
And obviously the weather makes or breaks the show. How has the show been for you?
Oh, fantastic. It's a great community here with customers, new and old faces.
Yeah.
Speaking to customers, who've got our products bought in the past, it's great to see them and see how they're getting on.
Yeah.
It's great.
And you do pretty much all the shows for Falcon. You do a lot of them every year.
I certainly do, yeah.
What is the highlight of the shows for you?
Definitely the community spirit. Just getting to know people, get to know your customers.
Yeah.
Brilliant between the traders, everybody speaking to each other, getting a feel for the show. And even the Warners group, the staff there are fantastic.
They are great, aren't they? It's a really quite unique industry, isn't it, really?
It is.
Many of us compete, but when the bell goes, as it were, and we all close up, we're all in the bar.
Of course we are. We've got all got to have a beer together. So.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And you're here selling solar, technology, AV stuff, Wi-Fi kit, all of that great stuff with a plug on that we all need or think we need in our motorhome campervan. What's the number one question that you get asked at the show?
How can we go off grid, and how can we get Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
Yeah. We've got great products. Our combo, for instance, is one of our best sellers at the minute. Great for connecting your smart TV too.
Yeah.
And doing your general browsing and.
It's an absolute favourite of mine, and we use it everywhere. We're using one here at the show on our own stand, that leisure shop, for our own iPads and PDQ machines. We've used it every show. It's been great.
Yeah, we're the same. We struggle with our pads, jump on the combo, and gets us out of a pickle.
I'm here with a very well-known face in the industry. When I say well-known, I mean you're old and you've been in the industry a long time. It's the lovely Keith from Campingaz.
Hi, yeah, I'm Keith. I've been with Coleman and Campingaz now for just over 26 years.
Oh my goodness.
Man and boy.
Man and boy, man and man. Well, it's great to see you back at a show, but actually back at work.
Yeah.
Keith, you've had a bit of a health scare.
Yeah, back here, right at the end of the summer last year, I was diagnosed with prostate cancer.
It was a bit of a shock.
It was a bit of a shock, yeah, no symptoms, didn't even know I had it, just happened to go for the checkup. And you've got to be careful. A man of my age, you don't want to go see the doctor. He's going to do things and stick his finger where he shouldn't. But they don't do that anymore. They do a simple blood test. And unfortunately found out I had prostate cancer. So when I had an operation in January, and they said you could be off work for 3 months, but I was back behind the desk after 4 weeks.
Fair
and
play.
back out on the road after 6 weeks, and now I'm back doing the shows. It's great to be out again and seeing all the people we see every time we do a show like this.
Now, you've been doing shows like this for years. What's the highlight of these shows for you?
It's always meeting somebody who you sold a piece of equipment to many moons ago, and they come back and they tell you how much they love using it and how well it served them.
Yeah.
And when you're working for a brand like Coleman or Campingaz, people have been tied into it for so long. Their parents used it, their grandparents used it, and it continues to perform and provide them exactly what they want to get out into the outdoors, and that's great.
Well, we've had our little Campingaz stove out every night this week.
Yeah.
Here at the show, and cooking tea on it, and it's lasted us about probably 20 years.
Yeah.
They do last a long time.
Yeah, I've got stoves that I bought before I joined the company 26 years ago, and they're still as good today as they were then. It's brilliant, So yeah, it's brilliant. We're all about not so much camping, but it's all about where are we cooking?
Yeah.
Because when you're in the great outdoors, you're always going to be cooking and eating somewhere different, and that's the strap line. It's not about just the campsite. It could be going to the beach with a party grill. It could be party in the park. It's where we're going to cook, somewhere different, giving you the freedom to get out there and enjoy it.
And a lot of work goes into putting on these shows for our own stands. Are shows going to be a big part of Campingaz this year and next year?
Even more so. We're lining up a special team of chefs to go out and attend shows like this and get out there and showing people how to use the cooking and the equipment.
What a great idea.
Yeah, and it's so important for us to come out, showcase new products, new inventions, new things that we're doing, how we're driving the business forward, getting out the gas safety message as well, because the refillable cylinders, good recycling message, the resealable cylinders, good safety message, and the fact that we've got a solution for everybody all the time, and that's what it's all about.
And how have the shows changed, do you think, over the time you've been doing them, 20 odd years? They certainly have changed, but how have they
they've changed, and obviously the internet is a big part of it. It used to be about what the price was on the day. Now people want to know that they've got the best price because they can see the best price online, but also people come better informed because they can do their research before they come to the show. What they really want from the show is they want to touch it, feel it, see it, and fully understand how it works. And that's what this show environment's about: meeting people, getting them using the kit, getting them feeling it and touching it, and knowing that they've made that right decision.
Yeah.
It's the Motorhome Map podcast, brought to you with thatleisureshop.com. We're at the Southern Motorhome and Campervan Show in Newbury, and the podcast today is, I say, holding the mirror up. Instead of talking from a customer's point of view, we're talking from a dealer's point of view today, because this show is full of dealers, and we've been meeting a lot of Matt's friends. Talking to another one right now.
I'm with Justin from Speeds Campers. Justin, you've done loads of these shows, haven't you?
Yes, we have now. Yes, we've been around quite a while.
Yeah. And how many shows are you doing this year?
We're going to do all of the shows this year with Warner's. So, we enjoy the Warner shows. They're good for us. They're good for our brand awareness. And they're good for sales.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of customers now from previous shows, and we like meeting them at the shows as we travel around. So it's good, very good.
Now you've got two brand new models here at the Newbury Show. You've got the Ripasso, which you launched earlier this year.
Yep, that's correct. Back in January at the Stoneleigh Warner Show.
And you've also got the MAN Wildcat,
Yep,
which is an amazing beast.
Yep, that's our newest one. That was launched here this weekend. Fabulous MAN van, 4x4, massive specification. Exciting.
A massive screen price though?
It's a big ticket, but some of these things are.
Now it's behind me, I'm remembering, it's 125k?
Yep,
just
that's correct.
shy of?
That's correct, yes.
And what sort of interest have you had? Because that's a life-changing sum of money.
Yeah, listen, it's a new thing for us. It's a new field that we are venturing into. We haven't really got much competition with being a four-wheel drive van, and the interest has been amazing. We've already taken 2 orders.
Oh, well done.
So that sort of puts it where it needs to be.
So how have sales been for you at this show and generally this year?
This weekend's been fantastic. We've done really well, and this year has been good. It's better than expected.
Yeah, good. So are people out there spending money then?
Oh yes, they are. Yeah.
And these vans, I'm looking at the ticket prices in the windscreens. We're sort of 55k plus.
Yes.
A 55k van, I'm assuming, isn't brand new, is it?
No. That'll be sort of 3 to 4 years old.
So prices are going up still, or do you think?
I think they probably peaked a little bit, and unless you have something quite individual that then you can push the price a little bit.
Yeah.
But overall, I think prices have peaked, and I think people are happy at the level that they're at.
And do you think people are in the market for new, or are they keen? There's more of a drive to buying a used van.
I'm finding people are more interested in new.
Mm-hmm.
We do have quite a large used selection of stock always, which does sell, but I'm getting a lot more interest for the new vehicles.
And do you think the show's as popular as ever with the consumers, with footfall?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I think, and this weekend has been amazing. The football's been fantastic. A lot busier than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
We've had some good weather, which is always good for us.
It helps, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a big help. And listen, Warner's put on a great show, and the facilities are great.
If I could just ask you a quick question, I suppose it's what sort of customers are here? I mean, from what you're saying, they're coming with their buying heads on and not just looking heads. So something has changed, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think so, because we've noticed in a couple of the shows at the beginning of the year, it was completely the opposite. The buyers weren't there. It was a lot more window shopping going on. Whereas this weekend, people have been a lot more decisive, a little bit more impulsive, and they've been getting their checkbooks out, that's what I need them to do.
We're with Orange Campers right now with Richard, who's the big boss man. Is that right?
Well, I am now when my wife's not here, but yes, for now I am.
She's the real boss.
She's the real boss. Yes.
So you do the shows, you don't do the NEC. Why don't you do the NEC?
Purely because we're a small family business, and to cope with a mass volume at the NEC, it put the rest of the shows under stress and what have you. So, for now, we're quite happy doing the smaller shows.
You can say it costs a lot of money, doesn't
and
it?
It does cost a fortune, yes.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
6 days in an air-conditioned building is not the best, week spent selling motorhomes, I love the outdoors. That's why we're in this business, to be outdoors,
And we certainly are here at Newbury, and this Saturday, little bit of rain first thing this morning, but 11 is not first thing, but since then it's been sunshine and warming up, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been gorgeous, and the little bit of rain gave me the idea to put the canopy on the rear doors of a Fiat there, and people love it. It's really, showing a prime example what you can do when it's raining. It's not always, we don't live in Spain, so we put up with a bit of rain, but there's always a gadget and what have you at these shows, what you can see for the first time. They're a great idea.
Now this podcast, we're holding the mirror up to the dealers instead of doing it from a customer
sales,
point of view.
Yeah.
It's about the dealer point of view, and
Yes.
particularly at shows like this. Now you've already said that you see value in those shows, and a little thing like putting the canopy up when we had a few spits of rain today. But do the shows generate business for you? Are you selling?
Yes, well, the shows are a great way of people finding out who we are. We're a small family business based in Rotherham, a workshop, and who would ever find us without the aid of these outdoor shows, so we have to, they're great for a dealer to come to these shows, and you can go head to head with some of the biggest names out there, and it gives you great confidence to be able to produce something equal to some of the names that I've grown up with and followed all my life as a camper van enthusiast.
So, just for people who've never heard of you before, what exactly do you do?
So we do a small camper van. We're a family-based camper van, but we're not the VW small. We're just a next size up. We're a bit of a niche in between. We like to do a family van. That's why we always offer a bigger fridge and things, because it is more family-based, or couples will want that. Not the tiny van. We don't want a big van, and we're somewhere hopefully in between.
So 5 seatbelts in this one behind us, for example. So ideal. You've got 3 kids.
Yeah, no.
There's 5 of you. You've launched a new van here at the show this weekend. How have sales and interest gone on that one for you?
Oh, massively. It's been a great. We said we're launching it here, and it really has. Because on paper you can't describe things. You can read about it, you can look at it on pictures, but until you get in it and open every cupboard and have a good feel of it, you can't guess or you can't judge how good it suits you. And that's the beauty of these shows. They'll let you to go into one van, and then come into another van, and hopefully come back to us and realise ours are very good vans. And and it gives you that exposure to lots of different builds, whereas you couldn't get that going from dealer to dealer.
Yeah, and if we talk about the NEC, not knocking it in any way, sometimes there's queues of people trying to get in to see things, but it's much more relaxed here. And I notice on your stand, people in and out of the vans, you're not hassling them, they're taking their time.
Yeah, no, it's a great place to come, and it's very laid back, as you say, and very open. I mean, we'll sit here and have us lunch, and afterwards we are physically camping on this pitch. So we'll set the barbecue going, crack a few beers open, and we love these shows because it's a great camping weekend for us as well as you.
Let's talk about your customers, specifically your customers. Are they the younger sorts with less money than those huge ticket screen prices, or is it still the grey pound?
Yeah, well, no, it's not. It's a slightly younger market, and we have noticed that it's not a young market because, let's be honest, young people don't really have the funds necessary to get up to 80k on some of these transits and things. But it is a slightly younger market, like ourselves. I mean, we're sort of, I'm early 50s, and we've got 2 young children. We left it quite late to have kids, and we find a lot of people in the same situation where, kids love this outdoor life, and it's great for them. But I mean, there is a certain age bracket between, but we do tend to be slightly younger audience. But then we have got some single ladies what have unfortunately lost their husbands and so on, and they love our vans because it gives them that freedom and a bit more space, a bit more luxury is what we wanted, other than a small compact camper just to stretch too far from.
So I'm here with Paula from Motorhome Essentials. I'm engaging the enemy. Hiya, Paula.
Hi, Matt.
Now, we both sell similar stuff, don't we? We cross over between our shops. But you've done the shows for years. How are they for you?
Yeah, I think every year they get better and better for us. It's all about changing your lines to suit the current market. Trends changed. Years ago, people wouldn't look twice at a sheepskin seat cover. Now it's probably one of our best sellers.
Right, okay. Why is that, do you think?
We owe a lot to vloggers.
Right.
A lot of these bloggers, Northerners on tour, roaming Radfords, they've all got our seat covers, and you just need one mention. They've got thousands of followers, and that's it. That's then everyone wants those seat covers because that's what they've got on their motorhome. And it does make a huge difference. Yeah. Just having a mention and I don't know. It's changing. It's keeping current as well. A lot of the customers. Are hardy year in, year out, same faces. So you've got to change. You've got to have something different when they come. You don't want, we've had your seat covers 15 years, we've had your mats 10 years, we've had that chamois leather off you for 8 years. You need something to sell them because these products last too long.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, you're getting on with the customers.
Well, of course, retail has changed, hasn't it? Online has totally transformed retail. We know that in our own business, having launched online and in store, and we're doing all the shows as you are. But I hear traders complaining about shows, that they're more like the high streets. They're harder work. They don't make the sales like they used to. The footfall's not as strong. They open up their gazebo and it doesn't really take off. What's your view?
There's a lot to be said for what you're selling. If what you're selling is available readily on Amazon, eBay, you get people standing in front of you and they're looking, we can get this on Amazon free delivered tomorrow. Yeah. They don't need to buy it then. I think it's having something different that they can't get. I mean, I know, just for instance, the trader just down there who's trades as Mohow, he now makes a lot of his own products. Using 3D printers for all sorts of door catches and window lock catch locks and things like that, and he's just doing something that no one else does. So you can only buy from him at the shows.
Right.
But if you're turning up selling a beer mug, it's the wrong demographic.
So it's trying to avoid Me Too products, isn't it? Yeah. So innovating at the show then is really important. Yeah. And of course that's a reason for people to come to a show, isn't it?
Yeah.
And for someone who's never been to a show, Keith joked earlier that they were armchair motorhomers. They're just sat there looking. They don't actually do it. What would you say to someone who's considering coming to a show, maybe never been to one before?
Oh well, Warner shows especially because of the entertainment, and that's a big pull. It's not just like the NEC, you're just walking around thousands and thousands of trade stands and motorhomes. This is a whole weekend where you've got all the entertainment, you're meeting like-minded people. You can go and listen to the chats, the talks. I think you do some yourself in the tents, where you can pick up tips and just listen to other people's woes and problems they've come across, and it's all just like-minded community.
Yes.
Obviously, it all depends on the weather. It makes a hell of a difference on the weather.
That's the clincher, isn't it? And we've been lucky this weekend here at
Newbury.
Very lucky. It has been sunny all weekend. That's been made a massive difference. And the shows this year, what do you think we're in for? Not the weather, But in terms of footfall, we're going to see younger people at the shows.
It's a lot younger crowd. Obviously, COVID did that, didn't it? Everyone out and went and bought a motorhome because they couldn't travel abroad. So there's a lot younger crowd. But we still need the old guys. They're our old faithfuls. But yeah, no, it is a younger crowd, and it's more. I think it's more family orientated as well now. Yeah.
Well, let's hope so for both our sakes.
Yes.
We won't cross swords too often.
I don't think we do.
No, we don't. No, it's great to see you. And I need a cab mat for our Adria Twin, please.
Okay. Yep. I'll sort you on out now.
Thanks very much. Now, they say straight lines sells motorhomes. That's certainly true here on the Somerset Motorhome Centre stand, as does cut grass.
Oh, very much.
It's something Tom here takes a huge pride in. How are you doing, Tom?
Yeah, very well, thank you.
It's lovely to see you. Now, you do quite a few of these shows local to you, and you've been doing them for how long?
Doing the shows probably over 30 years now. We've learned how to do shows, and I think that's the key, is that there's a different way of selling at a show and a different way of presenting yourself. Every dealer that's at one of these shows has got the same opportunity to present themselves equal to everybody else. So we make sure that the vans are fully prepped and valeted before they come to the show. We actually have a chap come to the show the day before it starts to cut all the grass so it looks nice like a garden, and we think it makes a difference.
It certainly does look superb, and you take a huge pride in that.
Yeah.
What's the big benefit for you then of doing the shows? Because they are, as you say, a massive amount of work. Why do you do them?
We enjoy them, which a lot of dealers I look at, I don't think they do enjoy doing the shows. It's a bit of a headache to them. We enjoy it. We enjoy the camaraderie of 3 or 4 of the sales guys coming away for 3 or 4 days. We enjoy seeing all the old customers that we've dealt with over the years, and we've got customers all around the country, but a lot of them come to the shows, so you might see them once a year, but they'll pop on and say hello. And it also gets our name out there, and we sort of handle millions of cards out, and we get quite a bit of business after the show of people that visited. They look at our website and they'll contact us afterwards. So as a sales team, you have to enjoy doing them. If it's a pain in the neck and it's just a weekend away from home, then there's no point in doing it. You have to have fun and enjoy it.
And I've heard many dealers describe them as a hamster wheel, where once you get on that wheel of doing shows, it's really hard to get off, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's correct. There's been times over the years where we thought, do we need to do the shows? And I think, in honesty, we probably don't need to, but because we enjoy it, then we do.
Which shows can people see Somerset Motorhome Centre at?
This one, obviously, Newbury. We do Malvern Show, which is in August. We do Shepton Mallet in September. And then we do a couple of local shows down towards Exeter. There's a couple of local shows down there. Newbury is as far as we go, Newbury and Malvern, mainly because I feel if we travelled further away to do shows, we probably wouldn't be able to give the backup to the customer once they bought the vehicle if there was any issues, because they're too far away.
Yeah.
But within a sort of a 2-hour drive from our depot, then I feel that's acceptable to be able to feel confident we can look after the customers once they've purchased.
You say you've been doing the shows for 30 years. That's a long time. They've changed over the course of time, haven't they? What's been one of the biggest changes at the shows, do you think?
I would say that the shows have got much more professional. When we first started doing it, they really were just like a boot sale, and the dealers would turn up and they'd all be hungover from being out the night before, sat on deck chairs trying to sell vans. It's a lot more professional now. Our team of guys, we do enjoy a night out, but we're here at 8 o'clock every morning. The show doesn't open until 9:30, but 8 o'clock in the morning we're here just wiping down the vans, cleaning them, making sure there's no damage to them from the visitors yesterday.
Well, one of your guys was here at 7 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. I was walking past him, coming back from the showers.
That's right, yeah.
And he told me on my own.
Yeah. Well, we were on a first day, like on Friday, if we sell... Well, I think we sold 8 on Friday. Then we make sure we get a replacement vehicles coming up Saturday morning. So we have a team of drivers then that will leave the depot. I think they left at 6 o'clock Saturday morning, drove another load of vehicles up and then took the sold ones back. Because there's no point in having half your stock on site sold. There's quite expensive shows for us to do, so you need to replace the stock. And I'm always amazed at lots of dealers that don't do that. You know, I walk around the show and they might have 3 or 4 sold signs up on the Friday morning, and those vans are still there on Sunday afternoon, and I think that should have been replaced. But
that's because you're old school.
Yeah,
you were an old pro at this, Tom. But how do you think the footfall has changed? Has it changed over those 30 years?
Definitely. I think the footfall has got busier and busier. I think people come to a show to see a selection of vans. If you go to your local dealers, depending on what they've got in stock that day is what you're going to see. But if they come to a show, you can really see a good selection of all makes, models and price ranges. And one thing we try and do when we come to a show is have something for everyone. So we've got vehicles starting at $25,995 going up to $65,995. Something for everyone is important at the show.
Tom, have a great rest of the weekend, won't you? Thanks for taking a break from a busy weekend. Speak to me.
No problem at all, mate. Nice to see you.
It's the Motorhome Matt podcast. I'm Keith Gooden.
And I'm Motorhome Matt.
And it's brought to you with thatleisureshop.com. It's our questions and answers section. But first of all, time is almost up to get 25% off your motorhome or camper van insurance premium.
We've been talking about Ripe's range of features, but the thing I really love about Ripe is their UK-based call centre. When I tried their service, I found it incredibly reassuring to speak to someone who understood the market and my individual needs. And you guys have also told us about your experiences, which are great to hear. Gary in South Wales told me that he went online for a quote and was really impressed with the premium.
Laura in Somerset said, I rang Ripe to find out what tracker they would accept, and the person I spoke to was really helpful. A great experience. They answer 94% of calls within 90 seconds and handle everything efficiently. With Ripe, you get flexible insurance at competitive rates and support that's just a phone call away.
Click the link in this episode description to start your quote with Ripe and enjoy an automatic 25% discount off your premium, or give them a call and say Motorhome Matt to get 25% discount over the phone.
Darren Goulding has got in touch with us.
Yeah, hi Matt. I've just listened to your podcast and listening to the generalisation about the A-frames being allowed or legal in France, Spain, etc. Then could you explain, if it isn't allowed, whether the Système Bleu, which is a French company, obviously based in France, that actually make the A-frames, if you want to look them up online, they will be at systembleu.france. Because I find it strange because they use an Alco system with exactly the same setup as what we have in the UK. I've seen a few of them driving around in France now, and if it's totally illegal, so how do they manage that? So I think may need to do a little bit more looking up and have people check into that. Anyway, nice talking, nice pod. Catch you later.
Well, Darren, I've got one thing to say to you. We make machine guns in this country, but it's still not legal to have one, is it?
Yeah, but the thing is, they're not illegal. That's the whole point.
That's the whole point. That's what we're trying to get across. There's no laws.
We couldn't find a law, Gary, that means they're illegal to use. A law that we're breaking. Système Bleu do exist. I did look at the website. Thanks ever so much for pointing that out. And you're right, they do look the same as the ones we use here in the UK. They're compliant here in the UK. It turns your car into a trailer, provided you comply with all the trailer regs and the brake regs. And therefore, under the Vienna Convention, we should be permitted to use them in France and Spain. So, yeah, we still haven't found the law that people refer to that makes us breaking a law and therefore being illegal.
And we haven't found it in any country in Europe so far. But of course, if you know different, please do get in touch with us. We'll give those addresses out at the end of the podcast. Robin Taggart is in Ballymoney in Northern Ireland. Hi, Matt. I really enjoyed the recent excellent interview with SV Tech on camper van weight limits. Many motorhome owners don't even appear to be aware of the rules and issues around this topic. So thank you for helping to increase awareness about it. I've got a question about using alloy spacers to increase the wheel track width of a motorhome.
Robin goes on to say, chassis-built motorhomes tend to have bodies that overhang the wheels by quite a margin, certainly more than Alco chassis-based vehicles, which often have a wider wheelbase at the rear than on the front. To potentially increase wheel track width and vehicle stability, I have seen solid alloy wheel spacers up to 60mm thick that are designed to be fitted between the hub and the wheel. Can you shed any light on A, the legality of fitting and using these on a UK registered motorhome, and B, any practical or safety considerations around their use?
And Robin goes on to say our Sprinter-based Heimer motorhome is plated to 3,880 kilograms with a rear axle limit of 2,430 kilograms. It is rear-wheel drive with a full Mercedes-Benz chassis. I fitted it with a Mercedes-Benz genuine parts load-rated alloy wheels. Many thanks, says Robin Taggart.
Thanks, Robin.
By the way, I should claim my pension now after that question.
There's a lot in there. So firstly, well done on fitting Mercedes approved wheels. That's really important. This is something that people often overlook. They just put funky looking alloy wheels on a motorhome that are not weight rated. That is a disaster waiting to happen. So the observation you've made is quite right. The Mercedes chassis has wheels that are the same width apart at the front and the back. On the Stellantis group chassis, typically a Fiat, for example, often a maxi chassis is used, which means the rear wheels are wider apart, thus giving more stability to the vehicle. So for transit motorhomes, often the wheels are the same width apart, front and back, and the motorhome hangs right over. There's a lot of Euromobiles out there on a Ford Transit chassis, and they swing around, and when you go around a bend, you think it's going to go over. Of course, it doesn't. So can you fit wheel spacers onto them? Yes, you could. I'm not aware of any rule or law that you would be breaking by doing so, but a word of warning, you are going to put excessive wear on your wheel bearings, and you would also need to use much longer wheel studs, which also will be suffering a far greater level of wear. Now, you're quite a heavy vehicle, and your motorhome is always heavy. It's not like a van where it's going to be emptied and go down to 1.5 tons. It's always going to be around 3.5 tons because it's a motorhome. It never gets really emptied as such. So those wheel nuts and wheel bearings are going to be under constant strain. So that's the word of warning. I would definitely be talking to a Mercedes technician about this and getting some proper advice from somebody who really understands wheels, bearings and wheel nuts.
Robin, thanks very much for the question. If people want to get in touch or ask a question, what should they do, Matt?
Dead easy. Just head to mhmp.info/ask Matt. We'd love it if you recorded your question, hit the orange button, or you can fill out the form and we'll read it for you.
You can subscribe on YouTube.
We would love it if you did that too. Hit the subscribe button and click the bell. And our YouTube channel is brought to you by our friends at arabasecreative.co.uk.